Okay, right, you ready? Okay, right, Calvin, in your own words, give us like a brief history on gangster rap and start with NWA right through to 50
From
Cent.
NWA, right,
Yeah.
okay. Gangster rap, NWA kicked it off, but I guess he kicked it off commercially. Gangster rap, I think, in my opinion, is more about a violent expression. It's more of an honest expression due to the need, because we're hearing so much pop, placid rap, you know, and it's like our way of saying, no, come on, man, let's just take it a bit more. Let's just have fun with this, you know. That's why everyone used the gangster term. You know, you had your Italian movies coming out at the same time. You're watching your Western movies at that time, you know. So everybody wanted that sort of gangster hierarchy. You see what I mean? You know, in the streets of America, you know, the real gangsters, they don't have the same hierarchy. It's one guy and loads of other guys working for him, and then another couple of, it's like a pyramid effect. So to have like mob bosses, the boss, it's an Italian thing, really.
So when did gangster rap kind of really sort of drive home in London itself?
When it went commercial, when it went controversial. Because at the end of the day, it's the power of the media. You know, gangster rap, I'm sure someone said something explicit like fuck the police somewhere before. We say it all the time, but someone put that on record. Someone heard it and said, no, that's bad. Publicized it even more, and it crossed the shores.
Okay.
And it got banned. That's the best thing that could ever happen to a record. Get banned. Anything that, if it goes platinum, multi-platinum, that's a good thing. If it's bad, if it's banned, it's an even better thing.
So do you think that gangster rap has an effect on society? Do you think it's influenced anybody in any way, gangster rap?
Creatively, yeah. You know what it is, yeah? It's like art imitating life, and life imitating art.
What do you mean?
Well, see, all right, you got people walking a certain way, talking a certain way. Where are they going to learn that from? It's not always from your parents, you know. It's from people around you. Yeah, if a whole, like the school playground, for example, yeah, we were all into Snoop Dogg at one point, because everyone was talking about, you don't want to be out of the frame, you want to be part of it. So that's what I think. That's how it's going to influence you, because everybody introduce you to the idea. It's always in the playground, because that's where your society is. That's where your young minds are.
Okay, well, recently politicians like David Blunkett and Kim Howells, they've recently said the recent rise in the London gun crime is due to the gangster rap. They said that it glamorizes guns, and you know there's a direct link between drugs, guns, and the gangster rap music. What do you think of this? All
right, David Blunkett and the other chick. I don't blame him for saying that, because at the end of the day, these guys don't really know London. Blunkett can't even see London. All right. So at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, he just thought, right, okay, what's the most popular thing in black culture in central London? All right, if he picked up gangster, you know, hip hop, then that's his fault, not our fault. You know, that's not the community's fault, that's his fault. But I'm not saying gangster rap is good. I'm just saying he just picked out the only negative association to a black community and said, that's your reason. And at the end of the day, this guy is paid to say something. He's paid to find faults and write bills and weigh them and lobby them. You know what I mean? That's what he's paid to do. So he was supposed to be doing his job, and that's what he found. I can't really comment on that, because at the end of the day, you know, we're not helping ourselves.
What do you mean?
But, well, it's more of a community thing, because it's like every man for themselves. You know, I mean, if you really, really think about it, right, we have got all the opportunities. The best time in all our black history, yeah, to actually do something in your life. But we choose not to. Because we're actually still in the slave mentality, personally. You know, we're not free as we are freer than we actually think we are. You see what I mean? That, you know, only until, 2 years ago, the government just came out and said, actually, 90% of all black people who go to uni actually do get a degree. But yet still they say 90% of black boys who come out of school fail. What's that tell you? Statistic over statistic doesn't really tell you nothing.
Very true, very true. So, as a DJ, do you play gangster rap?
If it's popular, yeah.
Okay.
My job as the DJ is to give what the people want as much as possible.
Okay.
But I do see the effects of gangster rap on the dance floor, but not as much as people would think.
So what type of effects do you see on the dance floor? How did the crowd
At the end of the day,
react?
you know what? The most violent tune, two of the most violent tunes on the dance floor, right, is Slam by Onyx. Because you see how it just gets the boys, but that's not even a gangster track. They use gangster connotations as a metaphor, but it's not really gangster lyrics. The other track is What by Noriega. People go crazy on the dance floor, but again, it's not a gangster tune.
How do they react to say like a 50 Cent on like a Many Man or?
They start two-stepping in the, they're just imitating what they see in the video. Because at the end of the day, 50 doesn't really have a gun on video. It won't be shown. Even on band television, it's more about girls, it's more about clothes, it's more image. 50 Cent doesn't even smoke, doesn't even drink, doesn't even do anything. You know what? Is he gangster? Don't know. I'll leave it up to you. But the only thing that made 50 more popular is all the gunshots he had.
Okay.
50's clever. I don't rate him lyrically, but he's clever because at the end of the day, he's pushing the barriers of hip hop even wider.
Why don't you rate him lyrically? What is it about his lyrical?
It don't
content?
apply to me. That's why. Because at the end of the day, hip hop's a sound. Hip hop's like a soundtrack, and you could choose your soundtrack now. Because at the end of the day, if you really, really, really think about it, you've got rock hip hop, gangster hip hop, Christian hip hop, Muslim hip hop. There's so much. Your backpack hip hop. You know what I mean? Your conscious lyrics. You can pick your styles now. It's like going shopping now. You can go there. All right, it'd be under rap or it'd be under urban, but you could pick your styles now. But what people don't realize is, before we had the terms, we had different styles anyway, and it was under hip hop. But they singled out gangster hip hop, and they say, yeah, this is bad for a community. This is, the gun crime. You know what? Gangster rap's always been there. Since it's gone commercial, it was always going to go harder and harder. You look at rock, you look at house, there's always a harder version of something else. Because somebody wants to take it a bit more grittier. They wanted a bit more energy for it. But somebody wants it a bit more light to make them a bit more money, commercial. It's all about perspectives, and that people use music and throw it against people. It's not right, it's not fitting, it's not proper.
So would you say it's more of a social problem than actual?
I've always said it was a social problem. I'll be the first person to stand up. You know what I mean? We should get about our people. Especially the kids. The kids are more consumed into music, into games. I mean, games are more violent than music. Because at the end of the day, you could pick up a gun on a game, you could shoot whoever you want in the game, die, but you can start again. So kids are going out there. I'm not saying they're thinking they've got extra life, health bonus and all that kind of rubbish, yeah, because they're wiser than that. But at the end of the day, they can reenact again in their own homes. They don't need people to influence them to listen to something.
In your opinion, why do you think gangster rap outsells more than conscious rap?
Because because it's controversial. Because it's pop. At the end of the day, we go to a movie, yeah, we don't want to watch, I don't know, any of that sort of Hugh Grant rubbish. That's not about us, man. That's for you. That's for your parents. Yeah, we want to see action. We want to be entertained. Gangster hip hop is like your movies. It's entertainment. Your games is like entertainment. You want to see action. You want to be not scared, but you want to say, yeah, he's living the life. He's shooting the people because you can't. But some people want to take that further and actually want to be there. But I'm not saying that these guys, the movies are actually, I don't think people are copying these people. I just think people just want to be that person and say, yeah, that's what I want to be. They're not imitating, nobody wants to be 50 Cent. Nobody wants to be a gangster, really, but they think, if I can make money doing this, I'm gonna go and do it.
Who are the biggest consumers of rap?
White people.
Why'd you say that?
Why? Because in this country, we only make up 5%. We can't hold up gangster music on our own,
So why is it that white people are buying most of the music, but it's only really the black kids are picking up guns?
White people are picking up guns as well, but black people are so like I said, the slave mentality. We still think we're fighting. Yeah, we think we can't get jobs. We think we can't be in government. We think we can't change things. So we use what we've been trained to do, you know, in the slavery, is to fight amongst each other. We've always been fighting. If we realise that everything's in front of you, I mean, like I said, you couldn't be in a better time now in your life to do anything, right from photography to music, right from law to medicine. You can go for it. The time is now. And the government will back you up. But it's up to you to decide to.
So you reckon it's a problem within ourselves?
It's a community problem. Because at the end of the day, right, okay, all right, I come to uni every day with, you know, my laptop, my books, you know what I mean? And you have to spend time to get what you want. Whereas I could be walking past a man with a BMW, right? And I know he's pushing, because I heard the stories, yeah? I know he dealt with a few people, you know, like electrocuted his balls just so, because he cut up a couple of his powder and try to milk it down a bit so that he can earn some more money. I know that goes on. That goes on around me. I have to be strong enough to go through that. It's like walking in the valley of shadow of death, because that's what's happening. But I can see past it. Not many people can see past it. My parents has installed into me, go through. That's not where you want to be. Because if you really think about it, they might have all the money, they might have all the cars, all the women, but they're not going anywhere, and they're dying young. And there's plenty of them. And they're all your friends. Go through.
Last year, there was a reported 281 firearms offences in Lambeth and about 250 in Brent as well, compared to 25 in Richmond, which is like mainly a white suburban area. Why do you think this is?
Richmond's got money. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, they've got better housing, they've got better local government, you know. They're all looking after each other, they're all watching, they've got neighbourhood watch, I'm sure. They've probably got police on the street. It's Richmond has got a history of being a good area. Whereas your Lambeth area has always been, as far as I know it, you know, I think it's something that we all have to check up, but it's always been a working class area. So it's always inherited problems. Because if you put a whole bunch of negative people in one area, something's bound to go on. But the funny thing is the government will stick pubs and liquor stores in there. You know, keep them happy. But it's causing more friction. You know, check this out, right? You got to check this out. If you go driving into Richmond, you get cheaper petrol than you would in Lambeth. Go figure. These guys can afford the petrol, doesn't matter what price you throw at them. But the people in Lambeth, what's the deal? The insurance is higher, petrol's higher. What they're trying to do is stop people driving. And you've got less buses down there than you do in Richmond. I think they're creating their own ghettos. They want to create a great ghetto. Throw all the bad people in one area, keep my hood nice. Because that's where they're all from, all the local government. Well, most of the government is from people like Cheshire and Berkshire, and they're outside the central London. They're looking in and, it's too many black people in there, you know. Just look at Wandsworth, man. That shopping area's changed. You know, I remember you can go in there, you can get your patty, you can get your plantain, you can get your records, your dub record. You can't do that in Wandsworth anymore. Now you've got a View Cinema. Now you've got, you know, HMV, and they never had that before. Why is that? I'm not saying it's a conspiracy against us. I just think they try and use the areas to think, you know what, that's a good area, we can plant some business in there, let's raise the income tax, let's raise the rent, let's raise, you know, and get rid of these people because we don't need them, because we can make some money. It's a market-led industry, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's a media-led industry at that. That is working against black people in general, because we don't fight to get into them areas. And that's why we always, you know, hard up, or we think we're hard up. What we should be doing is going to school and learn about these industries, because that's where the money's at. They're showing us where the money's at, but we choose not to take it.
So do you believe that education is one of the fundamental keys?
Definitely. I mean, you could look at Africa. They've took everything out of Africa and left nothing. But the good countries in Africa are the ones who've got the best education systems. They haven't got everything. I'm not saying it's rosy in Africa. I'm just saying the best countries in Africa have got the best education systems.
As someone who's come from kind of like an urban sort of ghettoized area, did you see anybody around you with guns or anything?
All the time.
All the time. Is it quite easy to get a gun in these type of areas?
Have you heard of like 3 degrees of people? Like you can get, or you can know anyone around the world by asking just 3 to 6 people. Anyway, well, basically, I think I can get a gun by the end of today by asking one person. At least one person, my phone book, will lead me to a gun somewhere. And as far as I know, all the people that I know and I choose to talk and exchange and, be with are not into the gangster lifestyle. But everybody knows somewhere in my area who's got a gun, who can get a gun.
So where are these people getting these guns from? Where are they coming from?
I don't know where they're coming from. To be honest with you, I try and not look into it too much because I'm more into the positivity. I'm more looking forward. I'm trying to get through the shadow of death. I don't want to dwell too much into it, but I'll be guessing. I'm sure I'm sure it's coming from the police, who stockpile these guns. They stockpile cars and they sell cars to next to nothing. Why not guns? And I'm sure someone's buying a lot of guns thinking, you know what? Let me sell these guns to these niggas because that's where all the money's coming from. Someone's making money somewhere, put it that way. It could even be the Russians, but boy, I'm saying, I'm guessing, so I don't want to name drop people and they're not involved.
Say what you want to say, man.
Hey, boy, there's a lot more I want to say. Maybe it is the Russians, but again, like I said, where there's controversy, the government is really, really close to it. But they'd much rather blame gangster rap than themselves. Because, if their government has problems, then we're going to turn against them. And they don't want that. Because that would just turn the world upside down.
How would you compare someone like 50 Cent to say, because like we said before, he's been known to glamorize gun culture, the drugs, women, whatever. How would you compare a contemporary artist like 50 Cent to say a 1963 Sean Connery James Bond? How would you compare the two?
There's no comparison.
Why'd you say that?
I'll tell you why there's no comparison. Because you got a white man there. I'll tell you why, right? We've always known about spies. We've been reading about spies in books. It's just fantasy. You see what I mean? This is probably where it's similar. 50 Cent is a fantasy. He himself said he's just creating a fantasy. That's what it is. To a point now, he's exploiting the movie, the game, the music industry, and trying to be on top of it. So he's thinking money, all right? Whereas your James Bond, he's just a character who he's not walking, talking James Bond. You know what I mean? James Bond's supposed to be Secret Service for Her Majesty's pleasure, whatever, I don't know. He's supposed to be a government agent, whereas 50 Cent is supposed to be anti-establishment. But he's playing on the glamorized hip-hop stereotype of cash, money, hoes, cars. He's just exploiting the stereotype. And he's trying to be on top of it all because of the money. I want to know what 50 Cent actually listens to be honest with you. And I almost guarantee it's not gangster hip-hop.
So what do you reckon 50 Cent would listen to?
I reckon listen to soul and hip-hop, R&B, like we do. I think he's just like any one of us, but I think he's just making his money. Stamping his authority. Why not? If it's there, if you can see it, if Dre, Dre's behind you, got the money, you got the big, conglomerate record labels behind you, why not? And you got the world's attention, why not? Go for it.
Some people have said that when they listen to gangster rap, it makes them feel kind of confident, and it makes them have that little bit more aggression to them. How does it make you feel personally?
I think they're alright, because that's what it's meant to be. That's how it's supposed to be. If it meant you sort of throw the headphones off and get rid of it, then, look at Public Enemy. They're not gangster, but they, they evoke the same spirit within you. I always use the term slave to the rhythm, because we are. We're all slaves to the rhythm. We love a good beat And if the lyrics are there as well, it just makes that track even better. So it makes you feel good. I mean, you look at your mum while she's washing the dishes in there. What's she listening to make her feel good? It's the same thing. At the moment, hip hop is a soundtrack to young youth, to the streets of the inner city areas. Doesn't matter if it's in America, or if it's in Japan, or in Australia. Doesn't matter where it is. It seems to be the soundtrack to young urban youth.
How did these rappers get so rich?
For that reason, for providing the bed, the music bed, the soundtrack. You know, we all live in the same movie. We're all trying to get the same way. We all, you know, we're programmed to make money, yeah. And nowadays, it's not about getting married. It's just about having things. So if we're all trying to have things, and you got music that's talking about having things, yeah, it's the car I'm driving, it's the woman I'm with. You know, the chains I'm wearing. It's showing you, this is, you know, guys, this is what it's all about. Little do we know, half the rappers actually own half that shit. But, you know, when you got kids who have been programmed, we all are. When you got kids who've been programmed, this is what you should get. This is where you're supposed to be going. Where else are we gonna go? I mean, they're like the Pied Pipers. And it's a rat race, so we're the rats all going towards the Pied Piper. They're playing the music and we're following along. Only a few of us think outside the box. Fun little metaphor, isn't it?
Have I covered it? Karen, thank you very much.
It's alright, man. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, man. That's it.
I enjoyed that one, man. Anyway, still.
Yeah.
Tired, but I'm alright. It's all good.
Yeah, man. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting.